Welcome to the show! Or maybe it's like, hola to the show, or ciao bueno to the show. I don't know. Those are the only two languages I know how to say welcome to the show. But guys, welcome to the Nimble Urban Survivor podcast. I am your host, Nick Catelli. Great to have you here. Hope you're having a good month, good day, good year, good whatever. Because we had a good show today. We had a topic submitted by someone named Jarrett. And says, Nick, my ex invited me to their wedding. Ooh, that's bad. So I guess today's topic will be is, how do you survive having to go to your ex's wedding? Now, I don't know if it's like an ex-girlfriend or an ex-wife. Or, you know, in this case for the show, you know, ex-wives, ex-husbands, ex-whatever, right? But it's weird because why do exes do that? Why do they invite you to their wedding? You know, I don't know. I've been invited to like one ex's wedding. I didn't go just because I would have had to travel. But in reality, if people are going to these ex's weddings, right, then what happens is they get depressed. Because, you know, that's all it is. Like when your ex invites you to their wedding, they're just kind of just rubbing it in your face. It's just kind of like they're just like you're a dog and they're just like rubbing your face into their wedding to show how happy they are and how miserable you are. And we can't let that happen. Because if you go to your ex's wedding and you're miserable, you're going to become depressed. And if that's happening, and if people are becoming depressed all over the place, that's going to lead, and I've run the numbers, I've run a few scenarios, that's going to lead to a dictatorship style overthrow of the planet Earth. And I know what you guys are thinking. That seems crazy, but let me explain myself. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. Okay? People go to their ex's wedding. They get depressed, right? The depression makes you just go home and you don't want to do anything. So you don't want to go on dates and get married yourself. So that means less people are going to start getting married. Then the depression makes it that you don't want to, you know, go to work. So the economy is going to start collapsing because people are just going to stop showing up to their jobs. That means you're going to get less Amazon boxes, right? And then what's going to happen is people will get so depressed that they'll quit joining the military. So now militaries across the planet are shrinking and dying off, which I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, well, that's a good thing. You know, now we don't have all these like guns and bombs and militaries and dictatorships. But now, because everybody's depressed and not leaving their homes because they went to their ex's weddings, there's nobody to defend the planet. So what's going to happen is like a rogue militant group is going to come out of nowhere, just like in that Hulu show, The Handmaid's Tale. Like a rogue militant group will come out of nowhere, take over the planet. We can't defend ourselves because the militaries are gone, because everybody was depressed and quit because they went to their ex's weddings. And now we're no longer Earth. We're like the United Federation of, you know, militant military groups or something. And there's a dictatorship. That's not going to be good. On top of that, you know, now that, you know, that depression leads to less marriages. So the whole wedding industry collapses, and that's going to be part of the economy collapse. But in reality, that means all of those wedding dresses are going to go unsold. And what happens is they're going to throw them away. And you got to remember, guys, wedding dresses, they don't decompose. Like, do you know of a wedding dress that has ever just like decomposed after the wedding? No, those things are built to last. Because, you know, women want to keep their wedding dress. They get it nicely packed. I know my wife did that. We have it, like, nicely packed. I don't know why. Maybe we're going to, like, hand it down or sell it. But then we're going to have, like, such an overload of unused wedding dresses that the dumpsters are going to be like, yeah, we're not going to take these anymore because the landfills are already packed with wedding dresses. So you're going to have to throw them into the ocean. And remember, those wedding dresses are full of like chemicals and whatever that make them not decompose. I mean, wedding dresses are built to last. I mean, they could probably withstand a nuclear blast. Because if you know people on their wedding day, a woman will not let their wedding get ruined by anything. So those dresses are built to last. And what will happen is they'll get thrown in the ocean, and the seawater will mix with the material, making those chemicals come out, poison the whole sea, kill all of the sea life. And now we're looking at pretty much 98% of the world's water, which is seawater, has been contaminated, gone, and it dries up, and the world has collapsed. So now we're not under just a dictatorship, but there is a water shortage. And it's all due to the fact that you went to your ex's wedding and you got depressed because you saw how happy they were. So how do we avoid that from happening? And I think I have a pretty good process. So step number one, when you get the invitation, right? I know what you think. You think, well, I'm not going to go. But if you don't go, you're going to feel even more depressed. So you have to go, okay? And here's the thing. I know a lot of people will make the mistake of thinking that they have to like go and find a date to bring. And then what'll happen is they'll go and it'll be like one of those like rom-com scenarios where they like go and hire like a male gigolo or a prostitute to show up to the wedding with them to pretend that they're their like lover or date. And then at the end of the night, like everything gets blown out of the water and they find out that it's not real and you fall in love with the prostitute or gigolo, but then they're not in love with you. And it's a whole disaster. So here's my thing. If you have to bring a date, get like a mail order bride or something, because, you know, they're usually grateful to like leave their country and come to America. And that's kind of cool is the first thing they get to do when they come to America is go to a big fun wedding party. So that's great. That's an option. You don't have to go with that option. You can always go by yourself. And I know what you're thinking, guys. You're like, oh, I don't want to go by myself because then I'm going to look like a real loser, Nick. You're not going to look like a real loser because I have the perfect scenario to help you survive your ex's wedding. Because remember, when you're going to your ex's wedding, it's not about you being happy and showing them that you're like happy for them and taking the higher road. Okay? Don't go that route. That's a dumb route. The route I want you guys to go is I want you at the end of this wedding night to be the hero of the wedding. You are going to save the wedding. Okay? And it's going to be kind of like a Die Hard scenario. Like, have you ever seen the Christmas movie Die Hard? He pretty much saves the plaza, saves all the people. You need to think of yourself as you're going to this wedding. You're Bruce Willis in Die Hard. You got a sassy little attitude. You're kind of a tough guy, kind of a funny guy. That's how you're going to the wedding. Now, how do you create that Die Hard scenario? Well, you're going to need to go out. And you're not going to need to find like a team of actors. You're going to need to find like a team of like stunt actors. You know, like actors that you always see play like the villain in each movie or something. They look really tough. They're really talented. They know how to get like thrown through a window. They know how to handle, you know, fake guns, things like that. You're going to need to go and hire these guys, right? And it's going to be a little bit of an investment. Okay, you're probably going to be looking at about 6 figures because you're going to have to hire them for some rehearsals and some practices and then for the big night. But, you know, what's more important? Money or saving the world? I don't know. You tell me. Okay, so you're going to want to go out, and I would say get about like 4 or 5 of them, you know, and you're going to have to go rent a warehouse and recreate the wedding setup. And you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to figure out what the wedding setup is going to be. So you're going to have to do a little recon work, find out where the wedding is, contact the wedding planner, see what the design is going to be, how the tables are laid out, where the open bars are, and build an exact replica of that in a warehouse off somewhere else. It's kind of like, have you ever seen the movie Ocean's 11, where they rob the Bellagio and they build like a replica of that, cash room in a warehouse so they can kind of like practice robbing it. You're going to have to do the same thing with this wedding. And what you're going to have to practice, which I guess brings me to step 2, is, practice, practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? The best way is practice, is you're going to have to choreograph a fight scene. You're going to have to set up that these guys come in, they hold the wedding hostage, okay? They hold the bride and groom hostage, and then you're going to be the hero. And in this scenario, when you're choreographing this, you have to be the hero. You have to save the bride because number one, you want to look like the hero of the wedding, but you also want to kind of tell your ex, like, this is what you're missing out on. Like, you're marrying this guy who couldn't even save the wedding. I just saved your wedding. Yeah, that's right. You might be married, but in the back of your head, for the rest of your life, you're going to regret not marrying this guy. Okay? Am I right? Now, here's the other thing, too. Your actors, your stunt actors, they need to be from a foreign country because they can't be in America. Because worst case scenario is they do this and then somebody runs into them at a Jiffy Lube, find out the whole thing was a fraud. So don't do that. So choreograph it, practice it. If you don't know how to do that, you can always go out and hire a choreograph person or a stunt coordinator or something that can set up a great fight scene. That might be a little bit of an investment. I'm not going to lie, that might be the best way to go in this scenario. Okay? Now, which brings me to step 3. Be prepared. Show up to the wedding, obviously, in a tuxedo. Something you can move in. Something that kind of says like a little bit of a James Bond kind of feel to it. You know, kind of like the black pants with the white jacket. That's kind of my favorite thing. I know people don't really even dress up for weddings anymore. I was at a wedding and a guy literally just had like polos and jeans on. And I was like, God, what happened to weddings? I remember when weddings were like tuxedos and top hats and canes and white gloves. And now it's like a wedding is like literally looks like I went to McDonald's and got an extra value meal. So you want to show up in a tuxedo, okay? And you want to be placed at a table kind of near the main entrance, all right? So, which brings me kind of, I guess, to step 3, which is it's the big night. Okay, so what's going to happen is obviously you're going to go, to the ceremony, which could be religious or non-religious, and then you're going to go to the reception. Okay, and you don't want your actor terrorists to break into the reception too early. Okay, you want to plan it to when the couple is doing their first dance together as husband and wife, because everybody's eyes are going to be on them. And while everybody's watching them do their first dance, you're going to go to all the doors, you're going to unlock them, okay? And the terrorist actors, remember they're actors, are going to come in and they're going to slowly take over the room. And then the minute that dance finishes, someone's going to shoot like a blank gun into the air. Everybody's going to get, held hostage. Now, few reminders here. Number 1, tell your actors, don't rob people. That's in poor sport. Remember, they're just kind of holding them pretend hostage. Sometimes I know these actors, they get really, really method. They'll start robbing people, taking jewelry, wallets, watches, things like that. Don't let that happen. Watch out for that. You remember, you're not robbing these people. You're saving them, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to have your kind of actor terrorists, take the bride and hold her hostage. And when it comes to the groom, the guy that your ex replaced you with, you want to kind of get him out of there. So I would have the your actor terrorists, tie him up, duct tape him, throw him in the bathroom, okay? Because in reality, you got to get him out of the picture because his first instinct might be to try and save the room. And we don't know what this guy is going to be like. He could be like a 6'4" athlete. He could be a 5 foot, Dungeons and Dragons player. I don't know, but get him out of the picture, okay? And then what's going to happen is that your actor terrorist, this brings me to, I would say, step 4 is the confrontation. Give it a few beats, and then you're going to stand up, and you're going to deliver this line, and you're going to say, hey, you, get your hands off her. This is her day. Right? Now, I know that sounds a little tacky, like it's from a 1990s action movie. But I'm not going to lie. People are going to be so scared and, pissing themselves. They're not going to care. And you're going to slowly walk over to your actor terrorists. Because here's the thing is, you don't want to, run over there and make, a big scene. You want to, really milk this in. This is a performance, okay? You're not saving the day. You're performing in front of everybody. And as you're slowly walking towards, which will be like your main actor terrorist, you're going to deliver a monologue. I don't know what that monologue would be, but I would keep it to about 30 seconds. As you slowly walk towards him very dramatically. Because remember, you want all eyes on you. You want people, because there's going to be people in the wedding who are going to be like, who's that guy? Who is that guy? And then, the other people in the wedding are going to be like, oh my God, I think that's so-and-so's ex. I can't believe she invited him. But oh my God, look at him. He's such a strong, powerful guy. Like they're all going to be whispering about you. Okay? So you got to let that spread, because you don't want to prematurely save the day and then nobody knows who you are, right? Because that's the worst thing to do. You want to soak it in so that by the time you do save the day, everybody knows who you are. And you're going to go up, and the terrorist actor that you hired, you're going to tell him when you get to a certain point, he's going to point the gun at you. Now, you're not going to knock the gun out of his hand. You're going to choreograph it to where you quickly, disarm him, grab the gun, and then take him hostage, and then tell all the other terrorists that if they don't get out of here within the next 5 seconds, that you're going to blow his head off. All right, which brings me to step 5, which is the exit. So at that point, your actors will all know that is their cue to leave the wedding and get out of there as quickly as they can. Okay, and then you let go of the terrorist actor you're holding hostage and tell him that if you ever see him again, that he'll be very, very sorry. Now you have to say very, very sorry because that's a legal thing. You can't actually threaten that you're going to shoot him because then that could possibly hold up in a court of law if the cops show up or anything like that. So just tell them that they're going to be sorry, okay? And they're all going to run out. And then your ex is going to be looking at you like, oh my God, you saved the day. And you don't want to say anything to her. Don't be a dick about it. Don't be like, yeah, I told you so, whatever. Just help her up, look her in the eyes, or him, if this is a girl saving her ex-boyfriends, it goes both ways. Look him in the eyes. And just give him a light kiss on the cheek and just say, you're welcome. And then casually just go back to your seat, sit down, and eat your free meal. You don't have to go and save the ex, husband who's locked away in the bathroom because people are probably going to go in there and save him, all right? And then they're just going to be bragging about how so-and-so's ex just saved the wedding. They're the hero of the wedding. And that's it, guys. You just survived going to your ex's wedding. Now, not only did you survive it, you stole all their thunder. You're like an actor that upstaged everyone. Okay? You're the hero. And that's it. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you is don't use that as an opportunity to get back with your ex. Okay, because at the end of the day, don't ruin a marriage. Obviously, you saved a marriage, but don't ruin a marriage. Also, don't ever get back to your ex. That's just my own personal opinion is once you break up with someone, just be broken up with them. There's no point in giving it a second try. My thing is, if it didn't work out the first time, it's not going to work out the second time. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, exactly. So again, don't get back with your ex. Use that energy and heroship to catapult you into a better relationship. And you never know, you might meet somebody at that wedding. You know what, on second guess, you know what, don't meet somebody at that wedding. Just go off, live your life, meet somebody else. Because if you meet somebody at the wedding and you end up getting married to that person, eventually they might find out that your whole marriage is just based on one big lie of an actor terrorist scenario you created to, take over another wedding. So obviously, again, don't do that. Just go live your life, though, and be happy. And that's it. That's how you survive your ex's wedding. Now, let's talk about one thing, because obviously someone's going to call the police, and the police are going to show up. So I forgot to mention this, but just remember common sense, guys. When you have your actor terrorists come in and pretend to hold the party hostage, have them wear masks. Obviously we have COVID going around, but, just to protect their identity so that when they leave, you won't be able to identify any of your actors, right? And then you can fly them back to whatever country they came from, all right? It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched The Sopranos, when they have to do a big hit. Nobody in Jersey does it. They fly in 2 guys from Italy. They come in, they do the hit, and then they just immediately fly right back to Italy. Kind of the same scenario here, with your actors, and so that you could never identify them and nobody could ever find them. Because that'd be really bad is if, your actors get arrested. And that's going to open up, a whole other can of worms. So don't do that. And with that being said, guys, that is our time for today's episode. Again, if there's ever anything you want to talk about, or if you want to be on the show, feel free to contact me through my website at www.catellicomedy.com. Again, guys, I know that there are a lot of amazing podcasts out there that you could be listening to, so I really appreciate that you always take the time to listen to mine. So, guys, have a great day, great month, great week, great whatever. And remember, survive out there.